Greetings, and thank you for joining us for the 67th episode of DC Animation with Spenser and Friends. This is an LMG Podcast Production. Today, I'm joined by a dear friend.
Hello, sir. So happy to be back.
Yes, yes, could you tell the people who you are and what you do and your expertise and all the things?
Of course, I am Benjamin David of Above and Batman Beyond. That's my podcast slash YouTube series on my channel. My YouTube channel is B David Studios, and I am currently, again, I have the podcast, and then now we're working on a documentary of the same name. So I used to do interviews. I was fortunate enough to meet Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman, and those were my days of geek journalism when I lived up in New Jersey slash New York. And then I moved down to Florida, and I am now making a documentary and it's anticipated to come out this fall.
I love it.
Thank you,
Excellent.
sir. Can't
So,
wait. And Spencer's going to be in it. Spoilers.
yes, yes, yes. Yeah, Ben and I, we've through this podcast, we have built a relationship, I'd say, and I'm
Oh,
I'm
very
happy to have you
much.
here.
Yeah,
So,
man. I always feel fortunate to come on, and I always feel honored and like I geek out being on your pod. So thank you.
oh, of course, and
Uh,
same. Like, I love it when you call me and you're like, "Hey, I got an episode." I'm like, "I'm happy to do it."
oh, nice.
So, well, thank you for joining us on this. Well, actually, before that,
Yes.
um, you said the name of your podcast, but like, what is your DC consumption? What DC do you take in, or have you taken in your time?
Sure. So the pod, as it sounds, Above and Batman Beyond, it is focused on Batman Beyond, but to really drive home my general DC consumption, a solid example is that every other week now we've started to bring back the DC animated movie show, which, just as it sounds, I love the DC animated movies. As much as I love Beyond slash BTAS, sometimes I would say consumption wise, to directly answer the question, more than even the DCAU slash Beyond. So I absolutely love DC animated movies, podcasts about DC animated movies. So that's my jammy jam beside, again, BTAS slash Beyond.
Excellent. I love it.
Mm,
Okay. Well, now, thank you for joining us on this journey through DC animation. Today's
yes.
film is Justice League Warworld, released July 25th, 2023. I will read a synopsis in my own words, and then we're just going to talk about it.
Love the synopses.
So, we open in the Old West. A woman who looks like her name is Diana rides through town on horseback, being watched by the locals. She steps into a saloon and gets a whiskey. She beats some dudes up, and Jonah Hex shows up. He apologizes for his men and invites her to have a drink. He asks her to stay and help him fight the good fight. She saves a young, newly orphaned girl and meets Batlash. She then puts a hurting on some of Jonah Hicks's men, and his men start, you know, to turn on him. So he tells them a story about his grandpappy's watch and puts them all down. That night, Wonder Woman finds out that Jonah Hex plans to use the train to obliterate the townsfolk, so she gets everyone out and derails the train. Jonah kills Batlash, and Wonder Woman fucks up the other side of Jonah's face. We are taken to Shambhala, where somebody who looks like his name is Bruce was sent as a mercenary, but he gets captured. He makes a deal to take the people that he was supposed to kill to Deimos in exchange for freedom and money. The mercenary tells them around a fire that people ain't shit, and then they come across some dinosaurs and shit. Along the way, they see a vision of an old man, and they make their way to Deimos' house, and they get through some traps, and they make it to the throne room. The mercenary asks for his money, and Deimos is trying to get some extra work out of him, so they all fight, and Deimos goes full Jafar and turns into a cobra. The warlord remembers who he is, and he puts a hot one in Deimos. Deimos ninja smokes away, and Bruce and Diana walk through a portal. In Black and White, Agent Kent meets Faraday, and they are investigating a UFO sighting. They meet Officer Wayne, and they go to interview everyone who saw the thing that happened. They start hitting Agent Kent with a bunch of anti-alien talk, and it turns out all the people that were talking shit were the aliens. More ships land, and white Martians start chasing the big three. They start remembering some things, and they use a flare to create an explosion for the Martians. They find the original UFO, and they see a green Martian. Faraday is in there and says, "We got to kill everybody," and Agent Kent knocks him out. The genjutsu that they were all under is broken, and they see the Green Martian is definitely a prisoner. They see him get tortured and decide he needs to be freed. It's Martian Manhunter, and he explains that they are on Warworld and his telepathy powers have been used to cast the genjutsu. They all get knocked out by Lobo, and Martian Manhunter is taken to Mongol, who starts monologuing and tortures him some more. The big three put their normal clothes on and get to work. Turns out Lobo wanted Warworld for himself, so he's the reason that things are not going in Mongol's favor. Martian Manhunter lets Lobo know that he's been playing chess this whole time, and he fuses with a white Martian to blow up Warworld. The big three are saved by the Harbinger, and she lets them know that crisis is coming. And that's the movie.
Indeed.
So, Ben, what'd you think of the movie?
Oh my. I first of all, I hesitate to even consider it a feature movie, and we'll get into why, but um I'll also say no weed in the verse can save this movie. It is like I guess that was the intended audience, but they didn't in any way interestingly like my one sentence review I wrote, this movie is a shitty animated Four Rooms with no Tim Roth bellboy. Have you ever seen Four Rooms?
I have not seen Four Rooms.
Okay, so Four Rooms was this anthology movie that Tarantino, Robert Rodriguez, Allison Anders. Point is, there were four filmmakers of the time, kind of indie 90s filmmakers, and they put together this anthology movie, but at least there was the connective tissue of Tim Roth as a bellboy in this hotel. And so each room was its own story, hence Four Rooms. But the point is that this movie routinely conflates the idea of a story unfolding with being so unclear that how am I supposed to care? Like, and I'm gonna get to, I have a lot of Tarantino that just hit me throughout this, but not to mention direct lifts, just theft from Pulp Fiction. If you don't, if again, we'll get to details, but I say the unfolding thing because there's this famous, and I'll wrap this my initial thoughts up in a second with this is like there's this famous interview with Charlie Rose with Tarantino back. It was like either between Pulp and um, Jackie Brown or right after Jackie Brown. And the point is that like there's the famous conversation is that he says a movie should unfold or a story should unfold because his criticism is that a movie shouldn't be predictable in the first 10 to 20 minutes. This movie not tries so hard to like be that Tarantino unfolding thing that the worst part is that he also follows that with an example of going, it also shouldn't be a Twilight Zone type twist every couple minutes. And that's it in the special features. I mean, obviously it's black and white, it's 50s sci-fi, it's clearly Twilight Zone. They are trying to like I just feel gaslit watching it, like as if you're supposed to be tricking me. And the final thing to wrap it up is like, DC is known for its villains. So to make this back to specifically with the movie in DC, if a movie is 90 minutes, whatever this is, like it would be nice to know what the villain wanted or who the villain was before minute 75. And if I recall, I don't think we meet Mongol anyone who has any kind of bad angle beside each little completely disparate and non-connected vignette other than people having amnesia. Like that is not enough connective tissue is my point, and it really undermines I think the idea of DC villains where you could do this whole unfolding anthology fun. I even have examples from specifically the Twilight Zone and anthology stuff, but it's like they just did a terrible job. As I said before, can we even call this a feature length movie when it doesn't, it's just a bunch of disconnected vignettes. That's all it is.
Uh, I agree. I was very disappointed the first time I saw this movie because it was called Justice League Warworld. So that's
Uh,
what I thought it was gonna be. Instead of, yeah, this just like almost showcase style nonsense. And
sure.
I was not a fan. Now I'm glad you brought up Mongol.
Uh,
I like Mongol.
okay.
This is easily the worst version of Mongol I have ever seen. I was furious. Already was mad at the movie because I was like, what are we doing? What is this? And then whenever I see Mongol, whenever I hear Mongol, I'm like, who the fuck is this? This is not my Mongol. I've seen Mongol in Justice League Unlimited. I've seen Mongol in Young Justice. I've seen Mongol in Batman Brave and the Bold. I saw Mongol in Public Enemies.
Mm,
All those versions of Mongol were great. They
mm,
were well done, they were
sure.
appropriate. This was not my Mongol, and I hated everything about him. Everything about him. Oh, so bad. But yeah, as you said, I spent the first like 70 minutes of this movie like, what are we what are we doing?
Yeah.
What is this? I
And
don't
not in a fun way, not like, oh, this is mysterious. It's like, no, I literally, you're not giving me anything.
Yeah, like it was just some nonsense.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was a bad kind of confused, not a good kind of confused. So,
And that is completely their fault, by the way. It 100% is. Because as I started off, it's like, look, no weed in the verse. I can tell you firsthand, the first time I watched this, I was liking the Wonder Woman stuff because it opens with that.
yeah,
But then again, there is no connective tissue. It also goes way too long. And again, I don't want to get into specifics now, but this whole movie, it follows, and this affects the pace and all my overall issues is this. The quietness of this whole Tomorrowverse, meaning like their insistence of not putting in music. It's so deliberate, you can tell they're like, we want to bring down the idea of a superhero movie having too much bombastic music and blah, blah, blah. But it's like it's so quiet that that worked, I thought, in Long Halloween. A lot of people criticize
yes,
Long Halloween. It works in a Batman noir anachronistic 40s-esque movie. It does not work on the planet Warworld when someone is especially dumping exposition like it is toxic waste. And that is another, can't wait to get into that. My
yeah,
God.
yeah.
Ugh.
Um, I
So we
don't.
both liked it. We both liked it.
It was so great. Um, you know what's funny? I thought that it was weird that there wasn't music, but I didn't. I guess I didn't. It didn't occur to me that that may have been a creative choice. But I did think like
It
there's not.
100% is, especially by this point in the universe. Not to cut you off real quick. It's just I tracked it going back, and it's like this is too late in the universe for it to not be deliberate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like I did like subconsciously notice. I was like, it feels like there should be music in some of these moments.
Mhm.
And yeah, like it was yeah, I think that only just contributes to the not greatness. But before we get into the actual movie, how did you feel about the voice cast?
Honestly, I'm not a fan. I think I'd say Darren Criss, Superman is right. Darren Criss,
Yes.
strongest in the Justice League, if we can even call it that. It should have really just been called a Trinity movie, by the way, because where is the rest of the league? I guess there's Martian
Right.
Manhunter, who we met in Superman Man of Tomorrow,
Yep.
and no one else, if I'm not mistaken. Harbinger does not count as a league member.
Nope.
And the idea of like even the word league, like I just even thought of that. It's a weak Trinity movie at best. Anyway, the Trinity cast, I am annoyed that they kept not conceptually the idea of a Middle Eastern accent from Gal Gadot. She is Israeli in real life. It
Yep.
works 100% for a, close to the Mediterranean accent, let's call it. But Stana Katic, I believe is her name.
Yep.
Isn't she American?
Yeah, she's I know her from Castle.
So you have an American doing an Israeli accent for a character who is born of clay and brought to life by Zeus. Give her whatever accent the actress has. There is absolutely no reason just because Gal Gadot happens to be Israeli. And this is like something that started to annoy me the more I mean, for an example, and I promise I'll bring it back to this, is like I familiarized myself so much with Superman at one point to prepare for recent pods that I watched four animated Superman movies in 24 hours. So this was the kind of like for different podcasts we were ranking the movies and stuff like that. I have watched enough Superman and all this stuff to know that like the Bumble and Clark thing from 78, for example, it's not a necessary thing. You don't have to have him play this like every time he's Clark Kent, he's completely tripping over himself. And even like the crystal stuff like that, the crystal Krypton stuff. You don't have to necessarily bring everything from the most popular live action. You get my point. Why are they doing this with the accent? Then you have I don't like Jensen Ackles as Batman, frankly. I thought Long Halloween was a good movie, but the whole time when he talks, it sounds like he's doing a Batman voice. And I liked him as Red Hood, but so it's to me also pop culturally, everyone at this point, if you're a DCAM fan, DC animated movie fan, that's Red Hood. So you just have Red Hood doing Batman. It's never going to sound right. You're not going to trick me into thinking Red Hood is Batman. He didn't graduate. It's not even Nightwing. It's Red Hood. He's like a bad guy at that. So I don't know. He doesn't work for me. Mongol, holy crap. Beside the exposition dumps, ass, ass, ass. And we're going to get into his design. I know you only asked about the voice cast. And then Lobo, I guess, is it still Ryan Hurst from Sons of Anarchy?
No, it's John DiMaggio.
Oh, so then you change that. I mean, I guess he did fine, but I kind of like the fact that you had a real biker SOA guy on your series, and now it's John DiMaggio, who great. He was the Joker, and he was the Joker in Red Hood.
Yep.
But it's like, all right, I don't know, none of it. I don't. I wasn't a fan.
Okay. I I think I've started to get used to Darren Chris. I I don't hate Castle as Wonder Woman, but I don't love it. And I agree, we don't need to do the accent. I think that everybody's trying to do what the MCU did and trying to create like hard continuity between live action and using that to inform everything.
Mhm.
I don't like that model. This is a completely different universe. That is not the same Wonder Woman, so we don't need
Right.
to model after that at all.
Not
I don't
remotely.
yeah, like I don't know why that needs to be a thing. So yeah, like Themyscira is fictional. We can do what we want. Like if you want to go ahead and go with like, oh, because she came from Greek gods, give her an accent from that region,
Mhm.
okay. But Themyscira is a land of make-believe. We don't have to make her sound like anything.
Right.
We
In
can do
fact,
what we
of the
want.
Trinity, she's the most magical. She's the most, yeah.
Yeah. Like just you don't have you're not bound to anything with that. And
No,
so
there is no like would, there's no should be. It is whatever you want it to be. Yeah.
yeah, so I don't I don't agree with them necessarily doing that. I think I like Jensen Ackles as Batman. I
Okay.
don't he's not my favorite by any means.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call him even top three, but I don't have a problem with him. Um I agree he did a great job as Red Hood, but I think
Oh, right.
that
Yeah. I loved his Red Hood. If I didn't say that, great. I mean, that's one of my favorite, if not top animated Batman movies. I mean, it's easily in my top three. So I just want to say that real quick.
yeah. Um and I think that I enjoyed Jonah Hex's voice. And
Mm.
then when I saw it was Troy Baker, I was like, oh, okay, good job, Troy Baker.
Oh, I
Because
didn't even know that. Nice. Yeah.
I hate Troy Baker as Batman. I hate him as Batman. Like, you're a pretty good Joker. You don't need to be Batman, period.
Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, like I hate him as Batman. But anyway, yeah, Mongol, garbage.
Oh, bro.
Trash. I hated everything about Mongol.
Every.
I hated everything about this Mongol. Like,
Ugh.
oh, so bad. Um, and John DiMaggio is one of those people, like, I'm pretty okay with him when he does whatever.
Sure.
Like, he's a vet in the game, so if I hear
Yeah.
John DiMaggio, I'm like, okay, it's because I played Gears of War, so to me he's just Marcus.
Mm,
For a lot of people, he's Bender from
Bender.
Futurama, and I usually say Bender because people recognize that more quickly. But yeah, like to me,
Yeah.
he's just Marcus Phoenix, and uh, he fits as Lobo. Like it makes sense to me.
Sure.
So I was pretty okay with it. I didn't have any hard negative opinions about it.
No, to me it was just more how it was written. So DiMaggio delivering anything coming out of these writers is like, what's it gonna do? I mean,
Yeah.
great, but
Yeah. And I think that you and I have kind of talked about this, but the Tomorrowverse large scale
yeah,
has not been great.
no,
Especially coming behind uh Apocalypse War, because that most of that universe was like that entire universe ranged from pretty good to top tier filmmaking, in my
yeah,
opinion. Like, I don't think there were any movies in that universe that were bad.
no, none were bad.
Like,
Agreed.
all of them were at least pretty good, like
At least
solid.
solid. Yeah,
This universe has had a few duds.
a few,
Matter of fact, probably
more than a few.
more
Yeah.
duds than movies. I'm like, yeah, it was pretty. Yeah, like it's had less good than bad. So, this is one of those movies where I was like, I'm gonna get Ben on here because I've only had him on really good movies. So
Nice.
we got to get him on something that's less than that.
Well, you'll see something else I'm pretty good at, which is talking that shit about bad movies because it's just, especially for, like you just said, I think I'll pick up on what you just said in terms of negativity, but also giving credit to this whole division, DC animation. It's like, bro, I have a DC animated movie show, DC animation with Spencer and Friends. These things are, we wouldn't have done that, my point is, unless they were at least solid for that long.
Yep.
And it is, I mean, I'm watching this going, I think out loud at one point by myself. I live alone. I'm like, what am I watching today?
Yeah.
Because especially when Mongol was talking, there's no music and he's just blabbering. And I'm going like, I literally don't know it doesn't feel like a comic book. Like if when you try to remove yourself when you do a review, right? You're like, let me try to really objectively. And by the way, I don't even have the experience with Mongol you did. I guess I didn't have the memories from a lot of the DC animation and stuff. So I was hoping this would be like a good intro to Mongol. And wow, bro, holy crap. Like, so that's why this is extra disappointing and confusing that this Tomorrowverse could be this bad. I mean, it is like gotten to the point where like I couldn't I know some people like Beware My Power. I was not a fan. What's it called? The Legion of Superheroes to me is like an AI. It doesn't exist. Like it's neither good nor bad. It's just there, which is maybe the worst review you can give anything. And then all three Crisis movies, and I don't want to get particular, but I'm just like recapping the to add up what that's four, five, six movies I just listed, five movies out of I think there's only 10 in the Tomorrowverse, if I'm not mistaken. That's half your movies. And I guess the final thing, like if you're asking my reaction to the Tomorrowverse, it was a good start. If I didn't say that before, I thought solid start. Maybe not good, but like I thought Man of Tomorrow was a solid start because that was the very first movie. Then we got JS Dub Dub 2. I like that movie. And in fact, I would say that for the animation choice, which I don't love overall, worked the best in that movie because it's a period piece. I also think it worked well with the two Batman, the Long Halloweens. So that was like your kind of, because the JS World War II is a Wonder Woman movie, really good Trinity start. And then from there, it was just like, what am I watching progressively?
Yeah. I think that I Man of Tomorrow was pretty good. World War II was pretty good. I enjoyed Long Halloween. I enjoyed Beware My Power. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Legion of Superheroes, I loved Supergirl, but not much else.
Hmm.
Like I think that version of Supergirl, their representation of Supergirl is one of it might be my favorite. Like I love the Supergirl
Mm.
in this universe. Um, I don't have much more positive to say.
Yeah.
And it is truly a disappointment. Um, so Yeah,
But
I,
the positive side though, real quick, is that it's over, so we don't have to continue worrying
yes.
about it, I guess, right?
And one thing I'm glad that you mentioned, I'm glad that you don't have as much of a connection to Mongol because I was thinking like my bias is why I hate this so much because this is such a bad version of Mongol and it's called Warworld. Like
Yeah.
that's Mongol. So like it should have and so I thought, "Oh, my bias is the problem." And I'm glad to hear that it's not.
Oh hell no.
Okay, good. Because yeah, I was worried that like, oh, this is a me problem because I
Sure.
had expectations and they didn't meet that. No, it's just not good on its own.
Well, I was thinking about that in the rewatch today. I'm going like, all right, well, now that I am familiar, because I've now watched because in the special features they do a thing on the villains of this whole movie, and obviously they go into Mongol and that Warworld's his thing, and he's essentially, like a dark side with a psychological angle. So he'll have the traditional one was, I think Alan Burnett, they had an interview and he was saying that, like, for those not familiar, real quick, it's just the basics of it. Warworld is this place where he would have heroes fight and then he would take the energy from the fight, the negativity, right? And that powered the world,
Yeah, essentially.
right? So,
Yeah, like it was like similar to Thor Ragnarok. Like it's a planet with a bunch of like gladiator type things,
yeah.
and yeah, like they use that, and then eventually, usually there's like a coup created amongst the gladiators, and they defeat Mongol with teamwork. But yeah, essentially, Warworld is a giant planet slash weapon,
Yeah.
similar to the Death Star, as far as I understand.
Well, I was thinking also even similar to Apocalypse. It's just this big, it's like it's a man-made or alien-made
Yeah.
planet. It's not a natural occurrence, but it's a planet.
Yeah, and it exists as a weapon. So yeah, like Mongol similar to
Oh yeah,
Darkseid.
that's more Death Star. You're right. That's the because it's a weapon. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Mongol similar to Darkseid is like a intergalactic conqueror who, you know, is just big and scary and can hang with Superman physically and
hmm
yeah, like that's and I think that's why because I love Darkseid. So I think that's why I like Mongol
Well,
because
same here, and I love Darkseid. I know way more, and so again, I went back to watch it today, and I'm going like, all right, so even with my knowledge of this guy, this is awful. Just
yes.
whatever. This is so and just boring. His delivery. They couldn't even put music behind. And why are you exposition dumping? Show me flashbacks of what you're talking about. Show me images. Show me the competition. Show me the gladiators. Wait, is there a coliseum on this place? I know there is because there was one in the animated. Like, come on. There's just so many questions I have.
Yeah. Do something and they didn't.
It was just him sitting there, and then the whole. I guess we'll wait. I'll wait till you get into it. But
Yeah.
oh
Yeah.
God.
No, let's talk about the movie.
All right.
So it's the Wild West, and we see a woman who's clearly Wonder Woman,
Yeah.
and she's, riding a horse, which,
Giddy up.
yeah. And, it's a good thing that while she has no memories, she does remember how to ride a horse.
Hell yes.
Because, she comes from an old world. I don't know if they have horses on Themyscira, but that feels like a land where they would. But also, they can all probably, like, Amazons can probably move faster and more efficiently than horses can. It's kind of
Fair
like
point.
Flash driving a car. Like, why?
Yeah.
So yeah, she could outrun a horse
Sure.
all day long. But anyway, she can fly. But we're gonna. She forgot she can fly. Um,
She's
but
got to ride into town on something.
yeah, like yeah, she got to ride slow, and people got to be looking at her because I guess it's not the old West if she's on foot.
Sure.
But yeah, I guess she was just kind of placed there because yeah, where did she get a gun? Where did she get a horse? I don't know. Um,
No, we don't know anything. You're
yeah,
absolutely
very
right.
very
Every question you
unclear.
have right now is 100% valid because we know absolutely nothing. And we were told absolutely nothing until minute 75, may I reinforce. But go ahead.
Yes. So yeah, she arrives in town, and because it's the Old West, I'm like, I know Jonah Hex is going to be here,
hmm
and so yeah, she as is going to be the case, like this, a lot of what happens is predictable up to this point. Like she goes in there, she asks for a drink, some men start trying to hit on her. She's like,
Sure.
hey, fuck off, and they're like, you better be careful who you talk to, little lady, and She beats them up, and yeah, the Jonah Hex is like, "I'm sorry about that. My men are crazy. Let's go have a drink." And then I will say, I did like that we were led to believe that Jonah Hex was the good guy in this situation, only to
Yeah.
find out that he was a piece of shit in this situation.
Hmm.
I think that that was, a nice twist that like made sense. I could
Yeah, that
appreciate
was a
that.
fun, again, in terms of stories unfolding. Thus far, you had me,
Yeah, like
honestly.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And some people love the old West. I don't have feelings about it. I'm like it's
Hmm.
fine, but yeah. So far we're doing okay.
Yeah, I've recently gotten into it, and I like Yellowstone opened my eyes a lot because of just the angle that it has, especially 1883, which I call Sadness the series. Because it is, have you seen 1883 or?
I haven't gotten into that universe. I
Yeah,
will at some point because I've only heard good things, but like
sure.
there are too many shows.
Oh, there's too many shows. Oh, by the way, I'm starting a podcast called, and you inspired it, called Too Many Shows.
Good. All right.
We're starting with Alien Earth. That's what I was telling you about that I'm going to start streaming because I was like, and I immediately thought of Spencer. So, anyway, but yeah, so like, wait, what were we talking about? I'm sorry.
Uh, the Old West,
Oh yeah, so
1883, Yellowstone.
1883. My point is that like, yeah, seeing like a different angle of it has gotten me into the West. Back to this, I will say, the best part of this movie in caps I have in my notes here is Wonder Woman's costume. Like, first of all, the golden lasso in the Old West, it all just works.
Yep.
The duster, the Wonder Woman stars and emblems. She's got the W on the belt buckle. This to me was like, I need a comic miniseries yesterday of this little Elseworlds in the Old West. And again, I love um that the Jonah Hex little mystery there. Yeah, the unexpected turn there. So far I was in, but
Yep.
a lot of that is also just because how you know it's still not good quality wise is that if you had rearranged it, the only reason it's good in my mind is because it's the beginning of the movie, and I have no idea that I'm about to be tricked for the next 75 minutes. So I can't even give it that much credit to be honest. But I did love this little vignette, I'll say.
All right. I agree. Yeah, so far I'm like, okay, we're good. Everything's gonna be like if this is the movie, then okay.
Sure.
Because with World War II happening in a different universe, than Man of Tomorrow, like very clearly those are two different Earths. I was like,
Yes, that
okay,
was a multiverse story. Yes, it wasn't just time travel. Yeah, good point.
yes. So I was like, okay, this is a different universe that's
Hmm.
gonna take us to Warworld. And Wonder Woman being here makes sense because she's long lived. Like we were good for a
Yeah.
while. Because yeah, I was like, okay, I like Wonder Woman in the Old West. She's gonna find her way on Warworld. She's gonna have to fight her way out. Like, yeah, I was building a good movie in my head.
Hmm.
Um, and then yeah, so Jonah Hex is like, hey, stay, help me, do all that. And then she meets Batlash, who I had not heard of until this. So I
Yeah,
was
I had
like,
no idea who this person was.
I
At first, I was like, "Oh, are they doing Steve Trevor?" And then he's got a flower on his hat. I'm like, "I don't think that ain't Steve Trevor."
and because his name was Batlash, I was like, is this the Batman of this situation? Like, what are we doing? Um, it wasn't,
I didn't
thank
even
God.
catch his name, but yeah, sorry.
So we see, some people riding into town, and then it's a man, woman, and daughter, and
Hmm.
they, you know, get gunned down. And I was like, well, I know what Wonder Woman's gonna do.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman's gonna save that baby. So she rides in there, saves the girl, drops her off, and then that's when she sees the townsfolk, and they've like barricaded themselves around the bank. And that's when we realize, like, oh, maybe Jonah Hex isn't the good guy. Uh-oh. And so, yeah, exactly. And so we see that Jonah Hex's men are the ones who are, causing this problem.
Mm.
And whenever that doesn't go well, the men start turning on him. The men are like, we don't think you need to be in charge. And Jonah
You ain't
Hex
our
is,
leader.
yeah. So Jonah Hex is like, let me tell you a little story.
Hmm.
This is my grandpappy's watch.
Hmm.
yada yada yada, and we knew he was gonna, quick draw him. So yeah, that happens, and then
If
that
I
night,
might, if I may
okay,
pause you here, have you seen Pulp Fiction?
I have seen Pulp Fiction.
Okay, the Christopher Walken monologue. I was in the war with this watch up my ass, and my father was. It's the same story. It's the entire Christopher Walken monologue in like 4 lines from Pulp Fiction. How, like, what? How is that valid? As you can't lift that. He even says to, he's like, wasn't comfortable transporting it. So
Yep.
I couldn't let that go. And again, I have a couple other Tarantino things just because of the weird storytelling and the stuff that he's known for and all that. But that was the first like, huh? How is that? That counts?
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
and I haven't seen Pulp Fiction in a long time, so
Hmm.
I remember that, but wasn't familiar enough with it to recall it.
Oh, it's all there. I mean, the fact that it's like literally an intergenerational watch that was transported by soldiers in a war up someone's ass. Like, what? How could you? That's so specific. What is more specific than that?
Yeah, I agree.
And why is that in an animated movie?
Because I guess it's supposed to be for the people who have seen Pulp Fiction.
Like, and there's whatever. Go ahead.
So, Grandpappy's watch, he guns the men down, and then Wonder Woman, shows up because everybody's like, "Hey, we're gonna need a distraction if we're gonna make this happen." So Wonder Woman's like, "I've been known to create a distraction." Um, One thing I will say, and this is, I want to see where you stand on this, but
Mm,
there are, I know that you love a favorite quote in a movie.
mm. Yes,
So,
sir.
how did you feel about whenever Jonah saw Wonder Woman? He said to her, "You're a wonder."
Oh God, I didn't
Oh,
even. Honestly, I don't even know if I picked up on it.
yep. He said that to her whenever he brought her upstairs, and I've never seen a woman with them kind of
Oh
skills before.
God, bro.
You're a wonder. I was like, I'm gonna write that one down because I was
Oh
rough.
no. Good
Like,
Lord.
that was one of those like on the nose, but again, not in a good way.
No, yeah.
So, Wonder Woman finds Jonah. Like Jonah is just waiting for her. Is like been wondered when you show up, and then uh she lassos him, and he tells her like, "Hey, we hijacked the train, put a bunch of dynamite on there, and it's gonna get ugly."
Mm.
And so she's like, "All right, that needs to be handled."
By the way, I like that flashback. Again, if they had taken this is easily the best part. I just thought of this. Like if you had done employed the way that when she had let me start this over. When she throws a lasso on him and we see the flashbacks of him telling the truth involuntarily, if they employed that same kind of thing with freaking Mongol later on, like, yeah, have your villain, especially if you're doing 3 stories, that's the way to do it. And it's so it's even weirder to see like a good movie within a horrible movie.
Yes, I agree. Because yeah, like this part, like I was not, I was feeling pretty good walking out of this, mini movie.
Yeah.
Like walking out of the Wonder Woman section, I was feeling okay, we're doing something.
And especially as a Western fan, we're gonna get to the train stuff later, but even just right here, the little flashback. Oh, we're doing a train robbery. The train robbery is an iconic Western. Like,
Very, yeah,
ah. Anyway,
like there's got to be a train. Like
gotta
that's the
be a
whole thing.
train.
Yeah,
Firefly's like second episode is called the train robbery. I'm pretty sure.
yeah. So we see the flashback of how that happens, and so she's like, "Oh shit, got to handle that." And so she goes back, it's like, "Hey, do you trust me?" "Yes, of course I trust you. Why wouldn't I trust you?" And also, one of the things I like that they did in this, at first, whenever Wonder Woman arrives, all of the townspeople are like, "Oh my God, yes, this is wonderful, this is great." And then they start to think about it a little bit, and they're like, "Well, actually, they're just gonna kill us now. So you being here is actually not great for us." because now
Right. So she kind of just brought a bunch of trouble. Yeah.
because they one of the things Jonah Hex does, he lights some dynamite, sends a horse over there, and Wonder Woman is able to take care of it. But yeah, like they were kind of like, oh, you being here is actually not good for us.
Hmm.
And it's like, and Bad Lies is like, he was gonna kill us anyway, so her being here is actually great. So shut up. But yeah, um,
But you're like, yeah, I mean, right there. Okay, so does she matter here? What are we watching? It's like
yes,
even the characters are doing, and this is one of the cringe things. Again, I didn't pick up, thank God, on the Wanderer line, but like later on, the cringe dialogue for me is the Lobo stuff, where the writers are just almost telling you like, this is boring dialogue, ha ha ha, like with this weird meta, and you have characters going, basically, does it matter that this woman with no name is here? Ah,
yeah,
the classic Western like man with no name. That and I actually like that idea in the special features. They're like, oh, it's the woman with no name. Okay, why? What?
yeah, and but yeah, so she's like, "Hey, do you trust me?" Yes, of course I do. And I will say, whenever she got to the train and the whole like little scene where she like runs, jumps off the train, lands, I was like, "Okay,
Loved it,
let's see what." Okay, we're cooking a little bit.
bro. Seeing her powers in that setting, and that's one of the things I love about Elseworlds, especially you limit the tech. Genius setting that first movie, World War I, because you're bringing it back to old tech. I mean, all of that. Yeah, loved it.
I will say, I do feel like this universe has handled Wonder Woman pretty well
Agreed.
because based on watching her in World War II and watching her in this, I feel they like they show what she can do appropriately. Because
Yeah, I mean
in
they
World War
she
II,
just
she was
launches
cooking.
fools. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, in this, yeah, but I love Wonder Woman, and I
Say,
I love it when she is accurately done.
I know watching this beginning part, I'm like, God, I love her so much.
Yeah, she's too. I love Wonder Woman. Anyway,
Yeah.
so she handles the train situation.
Hmm.
Like literally picks up the tracks and moves the train a different direction, and
Love that
so
too. That was
y-
very, very creative.
yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. Because I was wondering what she was gonna do. Because I was like, is she just gonna lift the train? But yeah, she,
Hmm.
manipulates the tracks,
She literally
and
got ahead of it. She's like, I'm this strong. Fuck it.
yeah, yeah, why not? So yeah, and then they're like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you saved everything." And then Jonah Hex just shoots Batlash.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, didn't expect that." Because I thought Batlash was more important, but okay.
Hmm.
And yeah, she beats his ass.
Oof. That beating. Yeah.
Like, and she kept hitting him on the good side of his face. That's what I
That's what
thought
I
was
call
hilarious.
the. Yeah, that's funny. But I didn't even think of that. All I could think of was like, that's the Henry Hill of neighbor beating from Goodfellas. Like when he goes across the street and just beats that dude's face in with a gun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like she beat his ass. And then
Oof.
we don't know it just next like we we don't see a transition like we're just at the next thing.
Thank you. Was there a transition? Because I pride myself on I'm pretty good at editing at this point. I don't notice any transition here.
No, we're just in the savage lands now. uh
Ugh.
so yeah, we're in
Couldn't they give us like the iMovie spinny thing or like any kind of, like I think my sixth graders, I taught them to do that when we were making videos in Italian class. They could make little transitions from part to part in their video.
yep. And so yeah, but I guess we weren't supposed to know that she was going to show up in the next place because
Hmm.
yeah, well yeah, so
We weren't supposed to know anything.
we weren't supposed to know anything. So yeah, we're in a different place and we see a guy who's clearly Batman because of
Hmm.
the little helmet that he has, like the helmet
Sure.
and cape thing. And he almost immediately just gets defeated and captured.
Hmm.
And the guy that he was dealing with, I assumed that that was Green Arrow just based on his look. It
Hmm.
wasn't.
No.
And so they're like, "Hey, what are you doing? What is this?" And he's like, "I am a mercenary, and I was sent here to kill you, obviously, by Deimos." And they're like, "Ah, that dastardly Deimos."
Sure.
And he's like, "I mean, I'll take you to him for some money," because they were basically like, "You will be a slave. Like that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna work the
Right. That
mines
yeah, the
until
mines,
you're
yeah.
old and gray." And he was like, "I don't want to do that. So yeah, I'll take you to him. That's not a problem at all." So
Yeah.
then they start, and he was like, "Yeah, you're coming with us." So yeah, if it's
Right.
if
They're like, yeah, you're not just gonna we can't trust him, so we have to go with him. Yeah,
yeah, he's obviously coming with us. So yeah, they embark on this journey, and they are around a fire. Well, and first they start getting attacked. Like some rhinos start running, and um, Batman is like, "I need to see what those rhinos were running away from." And
Oh,
it's a
okay.
it's
I
a
didn't
T
really
it's a
I didn't
T-Rex,
notice
I
that.
guess.
It's a T-Rex. Yeah.
Pretty much like it's a dinosaur. And so yeah, like they're just dinosaurs. Uh, like they have to fight different types of dinosaurs at different
That I
points.
remember. Okay, yeah.
But yeah, and then when they're around a fire, you know, the mercenary is telling them like, "Oh yeah, men are terrible."
Hmm.
One of the things I did, another quote that I thought was interesting, whenever they asked him where he was from, and he was like, I don't remember. And
I
yeah, it matters not.
Yeah.
And they were like, "So you know all of this stuff, but you don't know where you're from?"
Right.
And Batman says, "I am your prisoner, not your gossiping harlot."
Yes, I'm glad you remembered the harlot line.
Yeah, because
Well, he just watched Son of Batman. That's what
yes,
happened
he
there.
did. Like he's been hanging out with Damien. And so, yeah, that's because, yeah, anytime I hear the word harlot, I think of Damien.
Same.
So,
Be gone,
yeah,
harlots.
leave harlots.
Leave.
I was like, oh, Damien, so
Yeah, because he
funny.
talks like his grandfather who's like 500.
Exactly. And so,
Oh.
yeah, that was one of my favorite lines.
But yeah, I guess it's because they're like, oh, well, this is a sword and sorcery land, so Batman would clearly say something like harlot. And I'm like, would he? Because harlot, like, just all of this shit. What are we watching, man?
what's happening?
Is
And
this like, go ahead. So I
I was
just,
gonna say, this is the point where I was like, I don't think I like this.
yeah, same.
Um, and so yeah, like they come across a few dinosaurs, and they just start kind of like losing people along the way. So
Hmm.
some of the casualties are just other people that are with them along this journey.
Hmm.
They see along the way they see a vision of an old man who's like, "Oh, it's you," and it's like, okay, we know who that is. If you're familiar with DC at all, you know that's Flash.
Hmm.
If you're not familiar with DC, you're probably confused.
Right, because I guess they're tying in the whole crisis slash stuff that had happened and yeah, whatever. Sorry, go
Yeah,
ahead.
oh yeah, whatever. So yeah, they just kind of like sprinkle that in because it doesn't feel like it's relevant yet. But and
Or,
uh,
if they had bothered doing that the whole movie, maybe there would be what's called connective tissue and relevance and just
and
holy. Just that's one example of connective tissue, just one of 1,000 that you could have done.
and also, if this is a genjutsu that Martian Manhunter is casting, how did Flash make it through? Like, what are we doing?
Right.
Did Martian Manhunter actually do that? Like, how
Sure,
involved
was
was
Flash
Martian
actually
Manhunter?
there? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, whatever.
Sure.
They're, trying to build stuff. Okay.
And again,
Um,
as you were saying before, like real quick, you're watching all these people die. They don't even bother doing the whole like, give me 1 minute of why I should care about any of these people getting murked. Especially in, let alone in some sword and sorcery. It's like the genius of Game of Thrones is at least you try to humanize people, which obviously we don't have the time for that with this, but just give me a minute or two with any of these people to show me any kind of reason that on some weird journey that we're on Mount Doom or whatever it's called, Lord of the Rings, He-Man, whatever, Conan in this case, it's like I don't know these people, and you're pulling so weird. Again, the guy from Batlash. It's like why was that not Deputy Steve Trevor from Tombstone, Arizona? How hard would that have been? And then when he died, it mattered. And I guess we did meet him in JS World War II. Different universe. Make a new Steve Trevor that I actually care about. In this, the other problem too, no one knows anyone in this universe. And I'll hand it back over, but it's like, I don't, who knows anything about this sword and sorcery shit? Nobody.
Yeah,
This version of Batman, what is this place? Like,
they kind of just what it seems to me like they did. They reached deep into the bag to get some
yeah.
characters that weren't popular, some characters that you hadn't seen before. Because like these people feel like they'd be in like the Commandy universe, like
Hmm.
they'd be related to him some kind of
The
way. And
last
he's
boy on Earth. Yeah.
yeah, and he's also pretty niche.
Very
But
niche. Yeah.
uh yeah, like I think that yeah, like they just reached into the bag and pulled out some like these people are relevant for this time period. Let's just throw them in something.
Oh, I guess I'll say it now, dude. I almost wish I didn't watch the special features. So the guy, and I'll keep this brief because it's direct to this point. Butch Lukic is a guy who worked on Batman Beyond, a lot of the DCAU BTAS stuff. A lot of people call this both the Tomorrowverse and the Lukic verse because he's kind of like how James Tucker was, they call that the Tucker verse of the Decamu, the New 52 movies. It's kind of this is the Lukic verse. And in one of the interviews, Lukic goes, yeah, so it was, he's got like this real thick New York accent. He's like, so, this is like one of the last projects I'll probably ever work on, and I just wanted to get all the genres I've never done in one movie. So I got a Western, I got sword and sorcery, and I got my 50s sci-fi, and I was able to put it all into one. I'm like, and he literally said, he goes, so I was able to, ride out into the sunset and get all those. I'm like, so your own personal like bucket list of animation had to be crammed into one movie? How about you were about to do three Crisis movies? You couldn't have spread that out? I love your bucket list. That's a great bucket list, by the way. Have fun. Make it matter.
Yeah.
So I couldn't when I watched that in the special features, I couldn't even believe the editor of that special feature left that in.
Well,
Like,
I think the thing is they thought, "Oh, this is great," because I don't know if people like put out a movie that they know people are going to hate and that they know is going to be garbage. It really feels like every time people are like, "Oh yeah, everybody's going to love this. It's going to be wonderful." So they thought,
fair, yeah.
"Oh, this is going to be great. People are going to love it. It's going to be excellent." Like this is the final cut that went out to production. And so they were under the impression they're like, "Oh yeah, this we're happy with this." And
It's
yeah, a
yeah.
disappointment. I've never loved the idea of kind of like using popular IPs to realize other stuff that's unrelated to those IPs.
Right, of
So,
just throwing like genres at the board and saying, "Oh, I want Wonder Woman in the West, and I want Batman and Sword and Sorcery," that kind of thing.
or yeah, like, or just saying like, I want to make a Western and then being like, I'll use Wonder Woman to do it. Like,
Yeah.
I want to do a sword. Like, I, and for example, the Joker movie, like, that is a movie about,
Oh God.
mental health and, the woes of capitalism. Like, there are a lot of
Sure.
messages in that movie. That movie could have existed without Joker being related to it or involved because it was not a comic book movie.
No.
And so it
No.
should not
None of
have been
those
a
themes
comic book
have
movie.
anything have to do with sorry, go ahead.
No, like it's not a comic book movie, so it shouldn't have been a comic book movie. But they
Yeah.
took an idea or a movie that they wanted to do and then just like slapped Joker on top of it. And I was like, that no, what are we doing? Like that was, and so I don't love that. I don't love using IPs to bolster up a completely separate idea. Because it doesn't make sense, it doesn't fit, it doesn't match. Like we don't need to do that. Similarly, like we know the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, like the original Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, it was great, it was
Mm,
wonderful, and then this new Bel-Air
mm.
is not that. And so it's like, no, those two things didn't need to be connected. Like this doesn't need to be Bel-Air. This can be its
Right.
own independent thing, but they tried to use Bel-Air to bring money to it, and it's like I have a problem with that. And so I feel like that's what this was. He there was a thing he wanted to do, and he was like, "Okay, I'll do the thing I want to do and just slap DC on the outside of it." And I have a problem with that.
I do too, because you're taking my characters. It's like, oh, I have a story that it's like, oh, I have a, let's
It's
really
ultimate
break it.
it's ultimately a disservice to the IP.
Yeah. No, totally agreed. It's
So,
like, oh, I want to play Ninja Turtles. Let me borrow some Batman figures and throw them into mine. It's like, yeah, maybe you can make Batman TMNT. Maybe you can, again, do some Elseworld stuff. But like you said, I think the point is doing it for the sake of doing it is the wrong reason, especially with characters who are, the point is, yes, do the assignment, meaning it is more of like an assignment type thing when you're using IP that is comic based. You have to respect at a certain point, it's not your character. At all the points, it's not your character. So, anyway.
exactly. Because I'm okay with putting characters in different situations, but this felt like for the wrong reason.
Yeah, for the wrong reason is 100%.
Yeah. So, um, they, make it through all kinds of traps, and luckily Batman just kind of knows that some of the traps are there.
Sure.
And yeah, they, unfortunately, the black dude, he just dies. Like
Mhm.
oh, it was too bad for him. But,
Well, and let's not gloss over, before that, Batman just flat out kills a guy.
yes,
Just
uh,
lets a guy die, which even in a way worse extreme example than the whole like this was less debatable, my point is than the Batman Begins, I'll let you die. This was straight up like die. That was one of those non-heroic things I've ever seen a character do. Like,
yes.
what are we
Because
doing?
it didn't fit, like, because Batman was doing some stuff that was pretty characteristic of Batman, but like
Sure.
the fact that he was a mercenary at all was not,
I didn't like that either. Agreed.
yeah, like that wasn't very Batman at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah, when he's like mercenary. I'm like, so he's just a mercenary who wears the Batman thing. And also the whole like just very quick, this whole world, do a world. Again, if you're going to set them in another place that matches, like Dark Knights of Steel works as an Elseworld because he's a knight and he's from a rich house and you tie it all in and make it work. What does Conan the Barbarian have to do with Batman? Like a detective human who doesn't have superpowers and is like, what does that have to do? And then oh, well, you made him a mercenary. Well, that's also not Batman. He's not a killer. And then we flat out just, oh, well, I guess he is because we just watch him kill someone and not even bother to save him. Like, you're not even going to bother doing the anti-hero thing where like you try, but then shrug like nothing.
Yeah,
It's just none of this was characteristic. So you're taking this huge swing, and then also none of this is literally the term character, how someone acts in whatever setting they're in. Like when you explain to kids what the term character means, that none of this was the character of Batman.
agreed. And that is not more clear than whenever they're running away from the Minotaur, and then the gate closes, and he says, "Give me the key," and then he unlocks himself, and then says, "Up, tough shit," and then just keeps going. Like, so that was very un-Batman to me,
So on
because
Batman.
he had been doing some Batman things, like he saved the black dude whenever they were on the cliff,
That's true.
whenever they were scaling. Yeah, like he went out of his way to save him.
Yeah, I shouldn't say anything, but that's true. Yeah,
But that's the thing, like it was inconsistent. Like,
inconsistent.
what is he or isn't he, like, who he should be? Um, but yeah. So anyway,
Yeah.
they get to Deimos, and they see that the girl who had fought the pterodactyl, she lived and has been captured. I don't know how she managed, like, because she took the little pterodactyl way further away than they
Hmm.
were. So how did she end up in the throne room
I
as
guess it's Game of Thrones season two travel rules. Have you ever watched Game of Thrones?
I've not, and
Okay.
everybody attacks me for it.
No, that's fine. I was just very quickly, it's like the first season they do a much more believable like, oh, it takes 3 months to get from here to there. And then by like season two or three, all of a sudden you're able to just get places like within a day. So
Okay, cool. So yeah, like obviously she got teleported to the throne room and
teleported.
shackled up. The movie's got to happen.
Movie's gotta happen.
So, she's in there with another random slave woman who we eventually see is very clearly Wonder Woman, but we don't know that
Mm,
yet.
we don't know anything.
Yeah. So, um, I love that at first Deimos's magic was just a desert eagle
Mm,
because yeah, like
I did kind of like that, yeah, juxtaposition of sword and sorcery and then a giant revolver. Yeah.
yeah, because I was like, in this world, that's magic as far as anybody's concerned.
Yeah.
But yeah, just pulls out a big ass desert eagle, a bow. It's like don't make my wand speak again. It was
My
like
boomstick.
yeah, I was like, okay, that's hilarious.
It
I
is.
love
I
that.
did like that. Yeah, yeah.
And so he's like, hey, uh, I did what you needed. Where's my money? He's like, well, actually, I got one more thing for you to do, and then I'll give you your money. It's like, no, I did what needed doing. Give me my
Yeah.
money.
Not the deal.
Yeah. And then the warlord appears because he, defeated the Minotaur, which
Hmm.
I guess Batman knew would happen or not. Hard to say. Because he
We
told
don't know
Deimos,
anything.
yeah, we don't know anything. So he appears, and then, everybody starts fighting, and Deimos actually, like, he gets kind of defeated, and then he's like, all right, I'm actually a sorcerer. Let me do some shit.
Hmm.
And then again, full stolen from Aladdin, like they're in essentially a cave of wonders. He turns into a giant cobra.
Yeah.
They uh fight him for a little bit, and then eventually um the warlord is like, I know who I am. I am Travis something. Um so not Green Arrow. Because I was like, again,
Hmm.
to me, he was Green Arrow this whole time. And so I was like, oh, yeah, he's going to get a gun and he's going to get an arrow. He's going to do something that's
Hmm.
Green Arrow. But anyway, he gets the revolver and puts a hot one in Deimos. And I was like, oh, he's dead. But he wasn't. He shrinks back down to himself and he's like, I will get you for this. And then, Ninja smokes away.
I'm gonna get you next time, Gadget.
Yeah. That was a really good, that was a really good claw. That was really good.
Thank you, sir.
Um,
I've seen a fair amount of Gadget, yeah. So
and then up they go through a portal that opens.
yet another. Well,
So
actually, we
that
didn't even get a portal last time. What am I
that's what I'm
saying?
saying. Like
What am I saying?
this was actually a transition.
There you go. Yeah,
But yeah,
that's
that
what's
first
called
one,
filmmaking. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, we don't know how Wonder Woman got here. We uh, yeah,
Nah, no, they're not gonna tell us that. Why would they tell us that?
never that. And so
And
now
we
it's
also, by the way, got another stupid amnesia thing, which I haven't mentioned yet. I mean, this is like 80s sci-fi. Speaking of Dr. Claw, like Inspector Gadget has better premises. This is like A-Team type. Oh, the characters have amnesia. Like that is so stupid, derivative, overplayed, played like you said, and then even the part with like the Aladdin, some of this just felt so both overplayed but also doesn't matter. We don't know what's going on. It's such a weird mix, man.
I agree. Because again, after Wonder Woman section ends, I'm like, okay, let's see what happens. And then when Batman section starts, I'm like, okay, this is like showcase slash anthology. Let's see what happens. And I was not impressed by the Batman section. And now we're in black and white, and I'm like, okay, I'm nervous that this is gonna suck. Like that's as soon as we got to Agent Kent and Faraday. I was like, I have a feeling I'm not gonna like where we're going because I have yet to see fucking Mongol or fucking Warworld. Like, we have not seen any of that yet. I have no. Why is this called Warworld? So yeah, I look over to my friend Larry and I'm like, Larry, what are we doing? Because yeah, the first time I watched this, it was with Larry because when this movie came out, we were excited because it was called Warworld.
Sure, you were all about the Mongol, and yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so once yeah, we went to black and white and he was like, I'm Agent Kent. I was like, Larry, what are we doing?
Oh.
What is this?
And it was so obvious too at that point, like, oh, we got Wonder Woman in the West, we got Batman. And I wonder when it's gonna and the fact that it's black and white right away. They didn't even bother doing like, speaking of filmmaking, okay, maybe we got a portal transition. How about you do the Wizard of Oz like color to black and white thing? Why didn't you do that? Instead, it's just so it's like the whole movie was like this to me, where it was like the animatics version of what just underdone, undercooked. And then oh wow, it's Kent, like Clark Kent. And again, what the hell does this have to do with the character of Clark Kent? He's a cop in this. What does that have to do with being a reporter?
And that's one of the things that I immediately thought was, why were Batman and Clark not switched?
Yeah,
Because Superman being in, this magical world,
yeah,
okay, cool, that probably makes sense. Batman being
totally.
in black and white as a detective makes sense. But
Well, we don't want to make sense with this movie. We don't want the world's greatest detective to do detective work.
never
Like,
that.
holy crap. And again, Wonder Woman, I thought that was a decent combo, but this was just like, what the hell are we watching in this point?
I agree. And they tricked me because yeah, we opened
It's
up with
also not
something.
even set in Metropolis. Like, set it in Metropolis. You're in the 50s sci-fi. It's the city of tomorrow. It's all right there.
Yeah.
Ah,
So yeah, Clark and Faraday meet and they're like, "Hey, there's been a UFO sighting." So, um, Highway Patrol Officer Wayne is just there. I think he said
just
Highway
there.
Patrol, but yeah, um,
Yeah, he's just like a beat cop.
yeah, just.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, I hope they didn't say Highway Patrol because I'm like, are there even highways yet? Like in
Bro,
the 50s, like Eisenhower set up the, but okay.
yeah,
Um,
like the Interstate Act was like 1957 or something. You're right.
so I hope he didn't
Oh.
say Highway Patrol.
And in what world is Bruce Wayne? Literally, what world? This is all about, multiverses and worlds and war world. In what world is someone with that intellect a statey? Uh,
what are we
uh,
doing?
like Super Troopers, Bruce Wayne style?
Again, what are we doing? So they go and interview everybody, and everybody's just we meet the Lang family, and just some people, some
Blah,
some
blah, blah.
some characters, and
Some characters.
yeah, and they're just kind of like telling this, and I'm like, this is not how interviewing somebody works. Like you're not just gonna like let everybody tell the story as a group. You're gonna interview
Yeah,
them
separate them.
individually
Yeah. What are you
so that
doing?
they can tell you their own version of what happened. But they're just kind of, telling the story collectively. And yeah, so then they start mentioning like, hey, uh, there were five set of footprints going in, but six set of footprints coming out. That means the alien
Dun
is
dun dun.
here. And when they said it could shapeshift, it was like, okay, so probably Martians.
Hmm.
And then everybody starts basically saying like we gotta sniff out the alien because we don't want aliens here. And it felt it was pretty on the nose of
Well,
like,
dude, this is exactly what I'm saying. It's like you say the word shape-shifting and you already put it in black and white in a 50s sci-fi mystery where you're not even separating and you're doing the exposition thing where you're not even showing each person's individual story. You're doing nothing that makes this in any way unpredictable. But
yep,
also I don't know what's going on at the same. So it's like, what is this?
yes,
Ah, it's so many layers of bad.
yeah, very poorly done. And so then again, everybody's attacking him and basically saying like, you got to sniff out the aliens because we don't want those aliens here.
Hmm.
This is America,
America.
and we got to protect America from aliens.
Black and white. See, everything's black and white, by the way. Did you realize that? Everything's black and white,
Yeah,
Spencer.
don't forget,
Oh,
we're in black and white. And so, yeah, then, you know, Superman pushes an alien really, really hard, but it's a person. And yeah, one he's like, turn off that fucking jukebox. And everybody's like, the jukebox is off. And they have to show it's unplugged.
Which was so, again, it's like you think you're the Twilight Zone the whole time. It wasn't playing. Shut
Yeah.
the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up. What?
Oh.
And so then, Bruce and Diana are like, "Oh my God, you hear the music too?" And yeah, then he ends up pushing one of the people into the jukebox, and Superman, as far as he knows, he killed him.
hmm
And everybody's like, "How'd you do that?" He's like, "I
hmm
don't know." And then,
Because I also have to have my amnesia moment because this is so unpredictable.
yeah. And then he gets up because he's the alien. And then, oh no, all of them are aliens.
Dun dun dun.
And Batman is like, let me go get the car. So they go get the car, everybody get in, and then we see a lot more ships land, and they're just white Martians running after the big three, the Trinity.
hmm hmm
And while they're in the car, they start like piecing together some memories.
And by the
And
way, it's like minute 60 at this point. So we had to wait
yeah,
60 minutes, not even to get the Justice League, just our Trinity in one
just the big three.
place.
Yeah, we are an
And
hour
now
in.
they're starting to put things together. Like, what are we doing, bro?
And also, I think that like during this part, the first time I watched this, I paused it to see how much movie was left. And again, I looked at Larry and I said, "Where the fuck is Warworld? We have been here for 57 minutes and I have yet to see anything related to Warworld. What is happening?"
I was literally like 3 minutes off from this stupid part.
Well, and
And that's
I
always
don't
a
know if
good
that's
sign too when
exactly,
you're checking the time, right?
again, I don't know if that's exactly like those minutes are exact because
Oh, I
again,
see.
the
But no,
first
I
time we
mean,
watched this was a while ago.
we're
But
probably right. We're probably right.
yeah, like there was it was during Superman's part where I was like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
There's not enough movie left to give me what I came here for.
No, there ain't.
And so yeah,
Yeah,
they
for the record, real quick, we haven't seen or even know Mongol exists, right?
yes, correct.
Nothing.
And this is one of the most incorrectly titled movies that I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
So,
God.
so um we they come up with a plan. They're like, "Hey, there's a flare gun. We can use that oil tanker to blow up the Martians." How do you know that? I don't know. I just kind of know it. So, yeah.
How do you not know how to blow up a car, by the way? Like,
Yeah, I'm like, you should probably know that oil and a flare is gonna I feel like most adults just know that.
and also, isn't this Clark Kent? I, I, this isn't nitpicking because they wrote the movie. This Clark Kent is supposed to be like a copy cop. He's like a full-on detective, as we complain about. And then Bruce is the state trooper. So the state trooper knows more about blowing shit up than the copy cop detective.
Correct.
What? Okay, just making
What?
sure.
Yep. You know,
And we're also supposed to, as an audience, be like impressed that the one superpower we know he has is his detective work, is his intellect. Uh, I'm supposed to collect from him blowing up a truck that his intellect is what? Okay, cool.
yes, you are. You're supposed to gather all that.
He exploded something.
Yes. And Superman's got good aim
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That too. I'm like, oh, the whatever.
because what I thought might happen is Superman was gonna miss and then have to use heat vision to do it.
We'll see what that would have been is interesting.
Yeah, because like, oh shit, I have these powers that because how'd you do that? Like
Oh, and then the red, you could have had the red come out of the black and white,
yes,
and that's your transition. Oh, it would have been
yes.
great.
I thought the heat
Yes.
vision would be red in
And their
the
powers are what get them out of them realizing who they are through their powers. Oh, I
yes,
hate rewriting bad movies. Oh my
because
God, let me stop.
I just knew because we're in black and white, we're either gonna get
Oh,
the red glow of the we're gonna get the red glow of the heat vision and we're gonna get the gold of the lasso because we're in black and white, and so they're gonna pop. I
oh, there's even a
knew
comic book called Black, White, and Gold, the Wonder Woman. Yeah.
I knew that's what was gonna happen, and it didn't. And so
Oh my God,
We
dude.
didn't even get the visual satisfaction. Like, yeah. So
You're
anyway,
100%. Yeah.
they find the original UFO and just kind of phase into it, and they see a green Martian just kind of there, and they're like, "Oh, he's the head honcho." And Faraday's like, "We have to kill it." And I'm like, "Faraday, first of all, how did you get here? Secondly, why haven't you already done that if you've been here this whole time? What are we doing?"
Yeah, what? Like, what door did he walk through? Also, how do they know? Like, you just walk into some giant sci-fi looking room and you start. This is where it's like, okay, yeah, you're a detective, but you just look at that Martian going, oh, this is the thing behind all of the.
Well, and
What?
I will say
What?
Faraday's the one who said that because
Oh, he said,
Superman,
okay, well, that is
yes,
better. Yeah.
Superman was like, "Well, this one looks different than the rest of them."
Okay.
And Faraday was like, "I don't give a fuck. Kill it. Kill all of them. You didn't start acting weird until those two got here. So you kill everybody, Kent." And, Faraday has to be subdued because he's crashing out, which
Hmm.
is understandable. Like, I wasn't mad at Faraday under the circumstances.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, if I'm Faraday, I'm like, yeah, we're gonna have to, yeah. You didn't have super strength until they got here. You're talking about hearing music that's not there. Yeah, we're gonna have to. So I understand that.
Yeah, that's actually what you would call like a moment of panic that would make the movie cohesive based on this guy's experience. Yeah.
Yes. So they come out of the illusion. The genjutsu is broken, and they see Martian Manhunter on a table, and they're like, "Oh, he's a prisoner. That's not good." And one of the things that I will say that did make sense character-wise
Hmm.
was whenever Martian Manhunter is being tortured, and Batman is like, or Superman's like, "We gotta save him," and Batman's like, we should probably get some more information before we do that. And Superman's like, "Ah, no, torture's wrong, so I'm saving him." And I was like, that made sense character-wise. For
That was a
Bat,
good character moment. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
for Batman to be like, "Let's assess," and Superman to be like, "Nah, torture's wrong. I don't care how you look at it."
Sure.
Like that was very much that was very character appropriate for Superman and for Batman, I think.
That's where the idea of black and white actually would have worked if they had like God,
Yeah.
anyway.
And so also I'm a little unclear because I'm assuming this is the World War II version of Wonder Woman, but
Hmm.
the Batman and Superman, I'm not sure what the situation is because we see that Batman and Superman know each other in Legion of Superheroes, but
Okay.
they didn't seem to know each other, or they didn't seem to be each other's Superman and Batman here. So if this is I'm not sure what the situation was because I don't know if Long Halloween Batman and Man of Tomorrow Batman, which goes into Legion of Superheroes, like I don't know if they're the
Hmm.
same because we're dealing with so that's also unclear.
It is unclear. And also I that was a weakness to me of JS Dub Dub 2 was the Shakespeare, was that his name, the
Yeah,
Superman character? Why the hell did they like there was no reason to have that character be in that universe, and there was also no reason to not have just made that movie a time travel movie. There was no
yeah,
reason to multiverse that. Like, it's World War II. It's a thing that, guess what, happened in this universe and matters, and like, there's just so much. I mean, I guess the one thing maybe they could argue like, oh, well, we didn't want to do the but then you just make Terminator rules of time travel where you can like things don't necessarily get changed or they do or whatever. You make your own rules. I just hated that it was a multiverse thing. And then the Shakespeare character, and I think that factors into this as well of like, well, what is the connective tissue? And it pisses me off even more that they had another opportunity. This is a greater point, but I think they had an opportunity with this Tomorrowverse to do something they didn't do, not badly, but point is the Dekamu movies were so disconnected that the strength of them was that you could watch them individually, and I want to guess that's what their point was, is like you can watch all these, you don't have to have watched all of them. At this point in DC animation, they kind of had a shot of going like, let's tie these together better. And instead, it's like, I don't even know. You can't even come up with. We are two people who podcast about this. We don't even know which Superman we're watching right now, dude.
And that's particularly bad because we've seen everything.
Yeah,
If anybody should be able to point to exactly who's who, it would be us
yeah,
because we've spent the time.
right.
And
I just don't.
yeah, like it was way too unclear. And again, sometimes that can be in your benefit. Sometimes it's a positive. You're creating mystery, like you're um creating an air of like, oh, what's going to happen? Like that
Sure.
can be a positive. That's not what this is.
No.
This is poorly done.
Yeah.
And so yeah, um, I don't know which version of each of these characters we have because again, I also don't know where Long Halloween fall. Like, I don't know if Long Halloween is its own Earth or if Long Halloween and any of the other movies exist on the same Earth.
Well, so I kind of have an answer to that, but real quick, while we're here on this whole subject of connectivity and justice, this was also, I want to say, the first movie where it was the first Justice League movie in this universe, wasn't it?
Um,
Like, because
yeah,
before
because I
that, we
guess
had just
Justice
gotten,
Society was World War II.
there was Justice Society, but that was really just a Wonder Woman movie set in World
This
War II that wasn't, you know what I mean?
this is the first Justice League movie.
Yeah, so this is your first opportunity. Like everything we've talked about so far, consider that, listeners, that like this is the first time that this universe is going, let's put at least the Trinity all in one movie. And fine, if you want to do a Trinity movie, do a Trinity movie on Warworld. What is this? But anyway,
Yeah.
to the other thing, I guess to directly, from what I at least remember, is that if this helps, let us not forget the post-credit sequence in Long Halloween where Flash and Green Arrow show up.
Yes.
So I don't know if that helps answer your question.
Yeah, it doesn't. Um,
Exactly. And right there, it's like, why doesn't that help? And what was that? What are we watching?
yeah, because yeah, it feels like it's hard to say because I know that based on World War II,
Hmm.
Flash and Man of Tomorrow know each other.
They do, right? Because that Superman is in the beginning of JS World War II, and that's the
Yeah.
movie in which we're introduced to Barry Allen Flash. Yeah.
Yes, and I know that
And
that's
not just
con
Shakespeare, by the way. That's also what's confusing about it. You have regular Superman, like of tomorrow, Superman Prime, let's call him. And
Mhm.
there's that Brainiac fight in the beginning that launches the movie. You're right. Yes.
So yeah, we know that those two know each other, and then we know that Legion of Superheroes is connected to that because Brainiac is, the villain in that, and we see in that movie like Brainiac, as far as Supergirl is concerned, like Brainiac is shot and gone. So
Sure.
those are connected, but also again, it looks like the Batman in Long Halloween is in Legion of Superheroes,
Mm.
but I don't know. I don't know if that's the same Batman for sure.
Which, great.
Yeah, and then
Good job, guys.
and then Beware My Power. I assume I don't know where that lands either because Green Arrow's in that one, and it looks like the same Green Arrow that's in Long Halloween, but
And
it's
I liked
unclear.
that one scene up in the I thought they did a pretty decent job with the fight up in the watchtower.
Yeah,
You know, it's like, oh, we have a watchtower, we have a Justice League, and then this whole movie is a Justice League movie. We never, whatever. This is another example of like, it's just annoying because there's potential. I just don't know what the hell's going on in this universe.
yes, and yeah, like Beware My Power is more of a Justice League movie than this is
It is.
because there's an actual league in Beware My Power, and there's not in this. Like this movie is just the Trinity, and like Martian Manhunter gets sprinkled in at minute 64 or
And again,
whatever.
barely a Trinity movie too.
Yeah, it's really not.
Barely.
It's not a Justice League movie, and it's not a Warworld movie. So this movie is named incorrectly across the board.
And it's kind of nothing. Because again, it's not a Trinity. It's not
It's a
it
nothing burger.
it's a
Yep.
nothing burger. I mean, it doesn't have Batman because as we established, no, in any of these scenarios, they completely mischaracterized one third of your Trinity. And then I don't know, it's just, and even the Wonder Woman stuff. What does that have to do? Are you tying any of this into who she is as a Themysciran? There's no tie back to anything that we like. Let's say again, Justice Society was our introduction to that Wonder Woman, so let's call that our Wonder Woman movie. There's absolutely no tiebacks to that I can recall either. Like,
Same.
so cool.
There's not. So yeah. Um, because yeah, like we don't, yeah, we know nothing. Um, and yeah, it's okay. So
Yeah.
they see that Martian Manhunter's being tortured. Superman is like, torture's wrong, so they free him, and he kind of explains the deal. He's like, this is Warworld, this is what Warworld is. My telepathy powers were used. So how were y'all captured? To show me y'all being captured.
Yes, thank you. Right? There was no flashback to that.
How has Mongol acquired you from different Earths? Because
Well,
obviously y'all are not from the, because Wonder Woman says like, "Oh, you're so much younger than my Superman." So obviously y'all are not from the same. So
oh
how did
yeah, I
this
forgot
happen?
about that. Yeah, you're right, dude.
What are we what is this?
Right, so is that the Shakespeare Superman then? If she's saying he's younger, wouldn't that
It
imply that he's from World War II and a different one?
No, I think that she's saying my Superman is Shakespeare and he's older than you are.
Oh, right,
So
that would be her Superman, meaning
so
he
yeah.
would be older, not younger. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I think she's saying my Superman is older than you are, but I can see you are him, but not quite. So I
But
assume that
again, who gives a shit about her Superman? Why don't we just have one Superman? It's a
why
Justice League movie. Like this,
why was he in there? I,
God.
yeah. So yeah, like how I don't, and we know that Martian Manhunter and Superman know each other, but they didn't seem to know each other,
Yeah.
even though the Genjutsu's broken. And I don't
Well,
understand
and
how
by the
did
way, most of Man of Tomorrow, that's like 1/3 of that movie is a Martian Manhunter movie. It's his origin. It's
yes.
like that's the movie. It's because the whole movie's about being an alien. And it's actually I think a very well themed and pretty well done movie about xenophobia and just
I
everything is
agree.
there.
I agree. I talk about that in the episode. I say that Superman's experience being an alien and Martian Manhunter's experience being an alien are very different because of how they present. And like that, it's well done.
Yeah, but let's not let that matter at all anymore.
Now, so yeah, like Martian Manhunter and Superman should absolutely know each other because they bond on being the last of their races to exist. Like,
I was going to say more than know each other. They have already bonded. We saw that in an entire feature-length film. So,
so then
but
is this not Man of Tomorrow Superman? Or is this not Man of Tomorrow Martian Manhunter?
right.
And also, if you're not, how do you know about them? Like, what are we doing?
That's a great point too. In a multiverse situation, yeah, you by nature would, of course, you wouldn't know about other universes. Oh my
Yeah.
God, dude.
So what even is this?
That's
And
just like you said, this is the final edit. In the editing, how did they not catch this shit in the editing? I'm not saying you catch it all in the writer's room, but there is what is called post-production. What happened?
what happened? What I don't know. And it's not like all of this gets answered later. It would be different
Yeah.
if this got addressed. It doesn't. Spoiler, it doesn't.
And bro, you started off with the perfect analogy, Apocalypse War. You're coming off Apocalypse War, which is one feature-length movie that ties up 15 films and 10 years or whatever, 7 years, whatever it was. This had three movies, all of which were even longer than Apocalypse War, one Apocalypse War. You had 3 hour and a half, point is 4.5 hours, and none of this gets tied up, which to me is like, again, I know you don't like going ahead, but that's driving home your point.
No, I mean, and again, like I've already expressed that I'm not a fan of the Tomorrowverse, and the
Yeah,
fact that uh I am saying that means that I can't be impressed with how it ends.
right. Okay. I just,
That's
yeah.
that is compared to what we had before, and that is on its own. Um, but anyway, I yeah. I don't understand how I don't there are so many things I don't understand,
So many.
and that's not good. So
No, that's like the hallmark of yeah, bad. Like there's some movies that are obviously like there's the classic it's so bad that it's good. This doesn't even it's just dull and you don't know what you're watching. It's not even an attempt at anything. Like you just it's not a thing.
I think that if it weren't for my my vitriol toward the representation of Mongol, this movie would have
Yeah.
been completely forgettable. But the way that Mongol was handled makes me angry about it. But
Hmm.
if they had handled Mongol well, it would have been a better movie. If Mongol wasn't involved and it wasn't Warworld and all that, I would have probably just thrown it in the it exists bucket. But
The Legion of Superheroes bucket.
which I didn't hate that movie because again, I
Yeah.
love the Supergirl in that movie.
Yeah, she
But
is good. She is good in that.
yeah, eh, yeah, I okay. So
No, I feel you 100%. I just the whole time I'm going like, how is this a thing? But go ahead.
yeah. And that's the thing. I'm now to the point like watching this movie. I'm like, okay, we're on Warworld, it appears. So there's not a lot of runtime left. Mongol better cook. But I have a feeling he's not going to. But even though I didn't expect to get very much Mongol, the Mongol I got pissed me off. But before we get there, Lobo shows up, knocks everybody out, and I'm like, okay, the fact that Lobo's here leads me to believe that this is the Man of Tomorrow, Superman, and Martian Manhunter because Lobo was the third alien in that
He
movie.
was the third alien. Yeah, good point.
And so Martian Manhunter and Superman should know each other. Well,
And they should all know Lobo, and Lobo knows them. And yeah,
yeah, but okay.
no, we don't
So
want to do that. We don't want to, again, we don't want to connect anything. We don't want this to mean anything.
yeah. So they all get knocked out, and the big three wake up, and Batman is doing research and just has access to everything in the room.
Yeah, he
And
just like walks up to like as if it's the Bat computer. He's just like, he even has it again. This is where ooh, dialogue starts. These controls are surprisingly intuitive. You shouldn't be surprised that anything to you is intuitive. Everything to you is intuitive because you're a genius. It's also not your computer. You wouldn't have said that line. Stop. Oof. Ugh.
yeah, I think they're trying to justify him just knowing how it works. But
But I think that's another thing. That's in every sci-fi movie. Oh, the technology's so advanced that it's intuitive. Shut up. Shut up.
yeah,
Shut up.
like we get it.
Batman's the last. You don't give an intuitive thing to a character who's a genius. You give a thing that needs to be cracked and make it interesting. But again, this movie has no interest in making it interesting.
No, not at all. And so yeah, they start talking about these people are clones or they're not. Sometimes they're clones, sometimes they're originals. Um,
Whatever you want. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So then, Martian Manhunter gets taken to Mongol, and we hear Mongol first, and I'm like, don't love his voice.
Nope.
And then we see Mongol, and I'm like, who the fuck is that? That's not my Mongol. Why is he slim? What are we doing? That's not that's not my Mongol. Maybe
Dude, his
that's
arms made me nauseous. His
I was like,
arms made me physically sick.
I hated it. I hated it. And I was like, okay, maybe this is Mongol's son or something
Son of Mongol, yeah.
who should look exactly like Mongol, but okay. Like I started trying to give excuse. No, this is just the decision they made.
Well, actually, I can add to that. Unfortunately, I actually have some inside info. I watched in the special features. They were like, because he's, like I think they even made a dark side comparison. They're like, well, dark side is a physical thing, whereas this guy's more of a mental. So we don't need to make his arms big. And I'm like, dude, that's the same as we said before. Born of clay, brought to life by Zeus. Just make her hot. If you don't make her look hot, like you don't have to, it's none of it, it's all made up. Give him big arms. Why does he look like a gorilla with no muscles?
He needs to be physically imposing.
Of course he does.
Like that's a part of Mongol's thing is that he's large and physically imposing.
Which I was
So
going to ask. That was a question I had. Is that a thing? Like, can you just
yeah,
do that to Mongol? Is not make him look strong?
no, he's supposed to be big and strong. Like that's a part of his. Every representation of him has been big and strong. Now, Mongol is cunning, and he is able to capture people and all that. But Mongol can go toe to toe with Superman.
No, this
Like,
guy looked like an anorexic dark side is what he looked like.
yeah, I didn't like it. Like, I didn't need Ozempic Mongol. That's not what I wanted.
He got a personal trainer. He overdid the intermittent fasting is what he did.
Clearly, yeah, like it's not good. Like he's what do they call it? A cut, instead of a bulk, but
Sure.
it's not going well.
He took
Uh,
the cut so far that yeah, his hair's falling out. He overdid it. He overdid it. Yeah.
yeah, like he looks like he was buff and then got cancer, and now
Right. Or
he's
like when fat people like lose the weight and then they got the sacks of skin.
again Ozempic. Like,
Sure.
because Ozempic will just
That's it.
shrink you quickly. Like it just
Yeah.
kind of sucks the life
Unnaturally
out.
quickly. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like you can see Ozempic on people.
Yeah.
Uh, and so yeah, like it's Ozempic Mongol, and I don't like it.
Ozempic Mongol. That's the sequel. That should have been the Crisis parts one and it should have been Ozempic Mongol parts 1 through 3. Way
Yeah,
more interesting.
because yeah, like tell us about your weight loss journey, Mongol.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, so he just starts monologuing about fucking nothing. I don't
Bro, this
care.
monologue.
And also, Lobo's trying to like Deadpool this thing and just kind of like ad lib, and I'm like, what are we? What is? I don't like anything that's happening right now.
Okay, I gotta say right there, worst part of the movie, easily, is the self-acknowledgement that your exposition is complete trash when you have your Deadpool character, your Madcap, going, "This is the part of the story." And again, none of the story in a visual medium, in an animated medium where there is no budgetary concern, just animate it. Why again, we got the Wonder Woman vision of like I was saying before with Jonah Hex. We see what's going on. Show us what you're saying. Like you said, it is a monologue that is just bullshit. No one cares. And you have a character flat out saying this is boring dialogue with no music behind. He doesn't say the music part, but like you get my point. It's like whole you're and he does it like 3 times throughout this insufferably boring monologue. You have another character saying how boring the movie is. No, no, no. Or yes, yes, yes. Maybe that's just like, are you cheering on your lack of quality? Like, how is this admissible as a film?
I agree. I don't understand. Again, we can add it to the list of things I don't understand. I don't understand how we got here. I don't understand how this made it. Like this is it's so poorly done. And that is as a fan of Mongol, as somebody who knows the quality of DC animation, and just
Mhm.
as a movie viewer in general. Like across the board, what the fuck are we doing?
Across the board. Yeah, this is an inter-genre, inter whatever level of anything. This is trash filmmaking.
Yes. Very
And
poorly done.
and again, like abjectly boring as well.
Yeah, like if it was again, like you said, if it was so bad that it was like fun to watch, because there are some things that are really bad and that makes them enjoyable in a different way. That's not what this is.
Yeah, Terminator the Sarah Connor Chronicles is so bad that it's good.
Yeah, like
It's like it's at least good enough. I mean, some episodes are unwatchable, but it's just an example of like, all right, well, it's got enough of the franchise. It's dumb as shit, but at least it's so bad and blah blah blah. Like this is just boring. There's no Terminators, there's no flash to it, there's no it is so boring. There's no music even. Like you're on Warworld, play some music. It's an
yes,
epic. This is as epic as it gets.
this is the climax of the movie. Like this is
The climax of the movie.
the villain monologue. And so
The villain monologue, yes.
what I've said, one of the problems that the MCU has is a misutilization of villains. Like
Mm.
they will pull out a villain who's supposed to be a real problem and then isn't. And this was a poorly utilized Mongol. Like, again, if I wasn't so mad about how Mongol was represented, this movie is flat out like all this is flat out forgettable.
Hmm.
Like uninteresting. Just again, I
Oh no, I can prove it to you because again, I was not, as I said, a Mongol guy, and it's unwatchable this shit.
yeah, like
And
I
I have no idea what his plan was, and I don't care. The only reason I know who he is because of the special features. Like,
yeah,
why is that a thing?
and again, it doesn't even like it was just like we learn nothing pretty much.
Nothing.
We see nothing.
And it's our introduction to Mongol, isn't it? In
Yes,
this?
it's the first time Mongol has appeared because in DC animated movies, he was definitely in Public Enemies, and I remember he was in Public Enemies because Superman was fighting him while Batman was fighting Solomon Grundy, and I think that Grodd had a
Mm.
control of both of them. Which Grodd being able to control
Yeah, in that big
Mongol is
brawl.
like,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm like, I don't know about that, but okay.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I think Mongol was just brought in as a brute that could hang with Superman.
Yeah.
Because another thing that movie did, like the way that Batman handled Lady Shiva was trifling in my opinion. But
Yes, it
um
was. He's like, I recognize the speech patterns. I'm like, that's how you caught Grodd? What the hell is going on in this movie?
well that made sense because Solomon Grundy doesn't speak like Grodd
Oh,
does.
that's a
Like
good point. It was through Grundy. Yeah, great
yeah,
point.
like since Solomon Grundy was the one talking, I was like, ah yeah, because Solomon Grundy just
Wow,
born
now
on a
I feel
Monday.
dumb. Yeah, that's a great point.
But anyway, um
Anyway, yeah.
so he's monologuing and we see that Lobo's like, hey Martian, I did you a favor, so make it count. And we see while he's still monologuing, the Martian is cooking, like he's doing stuff. He's making things happen.
Sure.
And
Oh, I can't hear you.
shit.
Can you hear me? I can't hear you.
And we see the big three, they find their costumes and they're like, these look familiar. And, they're
Ugh.
able to put those on. And again, my thought is if this was a genjutsu, why weren't y'all in your actual clothes? Who put you in these clothes? In these like 1950s detective clothes that y'all were in? Who put you in those? Batman, why aren't you still shirtless from when you were in the fucking Savage Lands? Wonder Woman, where's your cowboy hat? Like, how? What are we doing?
Oh, we didn't even mention the fact that she's a secretary. I don't care if it's the 1950s. When in what world is Diana Prince a secretary? Just God damn it.
Yeah, and I guess that was they tried to do that, make it a time period thing,
Oh,
but
it's the 1950s and women are shut up, shut up,
shut
shut up.
up. Because we saw in when she was in World War I in the
Yeah,
live action Wonder Woman movie, since y'all want to base the shit on that, she was like, "No, I'm not doing that."
no.
So,
Bro, there's scenes in that movie where she doesn't even do like social niceties of like women now. Like, remember when guys would like go in to give her a hug and she would just back up and smile?
yeah,
Like, there
like
was just that. Shut up. God.
yeah. So yeah, okay, you're a secretary. Um,
Yeah. But yeah, and then the costuming thing, that was so like cartoon out of nowhere, like a Saturday morning thing where it's like, here's our costumes, and why weren't they wearing them before? And just these would have come in obviously handy any point. At no point did we see the three. This is like minute 70 at this point. Ugh.
yeah, I'm like, so y'all were probably captured in your costumes. Your costumes were taken off of you, nicely hung up, and
Yeah.
you were able to just like dry cleaner rack them to you. Like, what are we doing?
Well, their moms laid them out for them.
Clearly.
Yeah.
And it's like obviously y'all are the only people here because if we had seen like Jonah Hex's clothes, like if we'd seen more people's clothes, then all right. But no, just yeah. Uh yeah. I'm trying to I tried to make it and no. I,
No,
I
there ain't no sense.
so yeah. Lobo basically gives Martian Manhunter the keys to start doing stuff and he starts making things happen and the big three start doing stuff. And then one of the Martians is like, "Hey, this floor is having a problem, and this floor is having a problem, and Mongol is trying to, send units over there, and a bunch of stuff is not going Mongol's way. And then the big three, they make it in there. More fighting happens. I will say the fight choreography was solid.
It is good. Yeah.
Like not it was I would call it good.
Once they're in their suits,
Yeah. Once
it's
they're in their
pretty
suits.
incredible. It's pretty incredible the action you can produce when you put superheroes in their suits.
Yeah. Also,
Ah,
I like that one of the things that I thought was just hilarious. They made it sound like the reason Superman didn't have powers is because they were in black and white.
wait,
Because
what?
whenever Batman basic like the light in here is different. And I guess that's why Superman has powers all of a sudden. Because Batman mentions,
Uh,
like, we were in black and white and we didn't even notice.
oh
And I
my
guess
God.
that's why
I didn't
Superman
even
didn't have his
notice that was a
powers.
line. Jesus. I must have like trauma blocked a lot of this movie, bro.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess Superman doesn't have powers in black and white because one of the things I was wondering, I was like, there's no sunlight in here. Why do you have powers?
Sure.
But
But he pushed the guy, so he had some powers, right?
a little bit of powers, yeah. And
Yeah.
I'm thinking, even if it's black and white, the sun still exists.
There's still, yeah, I mean, it's just not okay.
But yeah, now that we're in color, he has all of his powers.
Now that we're in color off planet, by the way.
Yes,
So
exactly.
exposure to the yellow sun is what exactly on War, but fine.
Yes,
Great.
exactly. Uh-huh. So, um, Lobo is basically, just saying like, I want Warworld for myself, and that's why I did this. And Martian Manhunter's like, yeah, I know that you think that you put in all the things that made this possible, but who do you think gave you those ideas?
Hmm.
So Martian Manhunter again playing chess, and he explains the whole like Warworld key situation. Like it was embedded in half in the white, half in the green Martian DNA. Nobody knew that except for me because I know everything. I'm Martian Manhunter,
Hmm.
and I'm the last green Martian, period. And then they just fuse together. And we see that Mongol is fighting Lobo and I guess wins that fight. But yeah, again, I very unimpressed with Mongol. Um,
And also, like, I don't know a lot about Lobo. Does Lobo have the ambition? Would he want the responsibility of running a planet?
um, not really. Lobo,
Like,
I think that Lobo is just kind of
his whole thing is like a nomadic space bounty hunter. Why the hell would he
yes,
want to be in one place
like
ever?
he's an intergalactic bounty hunter who does what he does for money, I
Yeah,
guess.
he's
And
money driven and yeah, like
but also, yeah, like he just likes the freedom to kind of do whatever he wants. And so, yeah, like him wanting Warworld, I doesn't make a whole lot of sense character wise. Like
yeah,
it doesn't.
the singer of Kiss riding a space motorcycle is the guy who wants to has the ambition to run a planet like Darkseid. It's just so stupid, bro.
Yeah, like it doesn't fit with his goals,
No.
generally speaking.
And
So
then back to like you said with so it's like you have another mischaracterization there and then Mongols like just this fight again he just seems bitched by a bounty hunter. What? You're Mongol.
yeah, like the fact that cunning and some level of intelligence is a part of your character, and yeah, like Lobo was able to just kind of outsmart you quickly. I mean,
Outsmart you, outfight you, out like
and I guess
he
quickly because I guess this has been going on for who knows how long. Like we don't know how long they've been captured. Um, and Martian Manhunter might say it's been this long, but I don't remember how long this has been happening.
we don't know anything.
We don't know anything.
But you're right. I mean, it would be with sarcasm aside, a time thing would because it would. drive home the power of this place, right? If you could say, all right, we're able to distort someone, especially people of this caliber, they're the most powerful people on planet Earth, and you have captured and distorted time for them to the point where you have put them in different like realms of whatever. But you can't explain to us what like how about tell us it's been a week, oh, and it only felt like a day. Something.
something. But
Nothing.
yeah. So he fuses with the White Martian, and creates the key. And we do have the character moments of like, hey, Superman basically saying like, I was gonna tell y'all to leave, and I was just gonna stay and handle it. Like they have those moments, but yeah,
Is there
Martian.
anything, by the way, in this about like the reinforcement of Martian Manhunter's whole identity, the last son of basically Mars, and like the obvious racial stuff that is with that character? Like, did they touch on any of those themes with this white-green thing that they could have?
No.
Which
Um,
is, again, what are you doing?
like in this movie, like they just kind of mention a couple times that he's the last Green Martian, and they don't mention the relationship between the white and green Martians. Like none of that comes up. He
It's
just,
sitting right there, and you're doing all these exposition dumps. The amount of stuff that you can do about racial divide, genocide, last son of, you pick. It's all
yeah.
right there. And I just, yeah.
And that's, I will say, Martian Manhunter probably had my favorite line in this movie. Um, because whenever, we are kind of told that what powers Warworld is negative emotions. And
Yeah.
Mongol says something to the effect of, even with everybody here, like, you don't have enough of that to get anything done. And Martian Manhunter says, but the richest vein remains untapped. And then uses Mongol's emotions to, get things cooking.
Mm.
And yeah, that line, I was like, ooh, okay, Martian Manhunter. I like that.
That was cool. Yeah. Agreed.
Um, but yeah, otherwise, no.
No.
So yeah, he turns his arm into a key, and because this is the first time I've ever seen Martians fuse. I didn't know that was a thing,
I didn't either.
but
Which again
cool.
could have been interesting because you're bringing together these thus far divided da da da. So, but
Yeah,
let's not make that matter.
yeah, because why would it?
We don't want that.
Yeah. So yeah, the big three are like prepared to go with Warworld because Martian Manhunter is like, I'm setting this thing to self-destruct. Nobody should have this kind of power.
Mm.
And Harbinger's like, hey, you three, come with me. So they do. And from the distance, they see Warworld explode.
From a distance.
And then Harbinger's like, hey, y'all, that was nothing compared to what's coming. Credits.
Credits, bro.
So, Ben, on a scale of 1 to 10, what are you thinking?
Oh, dude. I mean, honestly, I wish I had thought ahead about this, I guess, but I seriously can't. And I'm gonna say, I guess, let me talk my way into the thing here of going like, with the amount of potential this had in terms of, because I haven't mentioned yet, have you ever seen uh Kurosawa's Rashomon, the movie?
I have not.
So the episode of BTAS POV, where it's like one event, one incident, and then you get it from different people's point of view.
Okay.
That 100% just could have been this. Just do a Rashomon. And clearly, you're trying to do this, and it's anthology style, you know, Akira Kurosawa movie. This is the guy who did Seven Samurai and Yojimbo and all these classic Japanese. What George Lucas based his, so really good filmmaking, simple but and almost gimmicky, but really ahead of its time because it's like the 50s, I think. You're doing anthology. It's black and white, by the way. And but it has the connective tissue of the one incident. And I'm not saying this has to do that. This doesn't have to have that connective tissue. It just has none. And that is what makes a movie. Otherwise, you have, and you can't even try to tell me, oh, I'm going to do the non-traditional three-act structure. Okay, so did 1994's Clerks for $25,000. Guess what the connective tissue was? The convenience store, the Clerks. Yes, it was nine vignettes based on, like, you can do a bunch of pretentious, based on the nine circles of hell, and do all this, whatever, tie in all, even if you want to go as deep as sword and sorcery, the Wild West, 50s sci-fi. As we talked about, your choices were to make the smartest guy on the planet a state trooper, and then you don't put the Kryptonian in the sword and sorcery thing where his biggest weakness is magic. Like, it's all sitting right there, and you don't even put your own like hip hop remix in the right order. And to me, it was just like that's the biggest sin of this whole project is not your attempts to do weird and different stuff, not Butch Lukic's riding into the sunset wanting to have all these genres crammed into one movie. It's that you tied none of this together, even in a Pulp Fiction way. Again, I was saying Tarantino before. There's a million ways to do it. Like that's, I guess, similar to a POV thing, but um, I just like I'm gonna have to give this thing because to me, it's not even a feature movie. I can't even call it that. It's barely television, um, and it's boring. It didn't keep my attention in any kind of like. That's why I started the whole thing going. There's not enough weed in the verse. Like you couldn't even try to. It's not even like, oh, there's shiny things in front of me that are interesting. So I don't know, 3 out of 10.
Okay.
Like, because it had the Wonder Woman stuff was fun. I'd say most of that was fun. So if you done just showcase short, that's what you put it perfectly. I can't believe I didn't even think of that. This was just you wanted to do three showcase shorts and you had no concept of how to tie it together. And then you completely bastardized for the people who love Mongol like you. And even you couldn't even make me care about him. I had no experience with the guy. I hated him as much as someone who knows what he should be. So to me, it's just, yeah, it's like a barely strung together. So I'll say the point is back to my score. Three is because of at least the Wonder Woman costuming. I want a mini series of that. Go for it. Literally, aside from that, everything else about this movie, Batman out of place in his part, Superman out of place in his part, all of the stuff we talked about, the potential. I don't like to rewrite movies because I know that annoys people, but like you said, that idea, I forever will make me mad at this movie of not having him in that sci-fi part in black and white, have the lasers, because he even says you have one shot, make it count with the flare. So have him miss. That's why he has to then use it, and then all their powers start coming back to them. And as heroes, at least if you're gonna stretch it as bad as you did at that point, 60 minutes into the movie, whatever it was, at least your last 40 of it could have been a superhero Justice League movie. And instead, even at that point, we had to wait for them to get in the suits. Like that's a perfect, way to end this right here. It's just like we had to wait. Just count the minute mark that we got them even in the suit, and that is proof that they just made whatever, not even Elseworld attempt that they were trying to make here. So yes, three at most out of 10.
Okay. Okay. I might agree. I wanted to try to give it a little more. Like the highest I could go is 4.
Sure.
Um, and that first part is doing some heavy lifting. So I liked the Wonder Woman section for the most part. I liked what Martian Manhunter did in this movie.
Yeah,
Um,
I did too. That's true.
but Mongol kind of cancels that out
Ugh.
because it was just so bad. And yeah, I think I'm gonna give it a 3,
Mm.
which might be the lowest score I have given
I'm
on
not
this
surprised.
series.
Same. Yeah, I mean, not to cut you off. It's like, especially it's your series, obviously. Same here. I don't know if I've ever heard you say that or if I would have ever conceived of giving any of these animated movies, a movie from this division of Warner Brothers, a score that low in my life. Like,
Agreed. Like the whole reason this podcast exists is because of the quality that DC animation puts out.
Yeah,
And, everybody's got, when you have this many movies, there are going to be misses. That's just a part of the game.
sure.
But yeah, this is egregious in my opinion.
Egregious.
And along with the fact that it's not good on its own, it's wrongly named.
Mm,
I have a problem with this movie being called Warworld
yeah,
because it's not.
as you should.
And so yeah, this was this was rough. I can confidently say if I never see this movie again, that's fine.
Uh,
Like
no,
I'm
agreed. I felt the same way. I was like, am I ever gonna rewatch this? Like, why would I?
Yeah, like this is a movie that I would only show people to demonstrate how bad the Mongol is. Like I would say like have you ever seen a shitty Mongol? You want to? Here you go.
Yeah.
Or do you ever want to see a situation where somebody just takes something great and just does a really shitty thing with it? That's what this is.
I'm glad you brought up the Joker analogy before. I don't think enough people face that movie is you're just slapping the DC label on something that has really nothing to do with it. And when I say cashing it, you made $1 billion with a B off that. Like that, I have extra. I don't want to get into the details of that, but even more problems with that. Like
Yeah.
that's a stupid amount of money for anything to make. Like what kind of anyway? So and back to this, yeah, you're just taking toys out of the wrong sandbox and putting it into another one. And I can't stand that shit.
Yeah. I'm not happy about it at all. And that's again with or without my bias.
Hmm.
But Ben, anything else on the movie?
I will have just a quick epilogue in a positive way of it's funny the timing of this. I was just listening earlier to a podcast because again, this is my thing. I'm obsessed with when I'm not watching one of these, I'm probably listening to a podcast, 3 or 4 a week from different podcasters about DC animated movies. And today it was a Justice League, because that is also in the title of this, even though it's a complete lie. Justice League New Frontier. Great movie, but like one of the people reviewing it, and I think it's fair they had like some of, in very broad strokes, the same complaints that we did, where it felt almost like vignettes because it's so many characters to serve. It's not connected in the best way. You know, the idea of like the center as your villain, maybe that's not a sentient planet slash dinosaur or island slash dinosaur island. Okay, it's got issues, but it is, I mean, like, ab I can't. I don't even have the words for putting New Frontier into the same category as this.
Yeah, New Frontier is
It's absolutely
solid.
nothing like it's yeah, solid, at least solid, if not great.
Hmm.
So I just what I'm saying is that like my point is I can recognize issues within especially adaptation stuff. Um this though, it's like what was the excuse here? There was no adaptation. I mean there was insofar as you completely misadapted Mongol, but they had all the freedom in the world. And I guess the final thing I'll say is with these movies, this is a pattern that I don't think I've pointed out yet. I think they figured out a way. They must have figured out a way animation wise to start making them cheaper because the Tomorrowverse starts to, in terms of running time, most of them are an hour and a half. And it's like the last point in DC animation history when they should have done that versus before when they were short but good. Maybe that's why they were also good. I don't know. But I am extra confused why something this bad is this long as well. It just made it completely worse, and it's a pattern that is only I hate to say it, you've seen him gets it. It makes Crisis literally infinitely worse, pun intended.
Yeah. So I think that because one of the issues with the runtime is often pacing. Like
Sure,
usually they don't have the option to pace the movie well because of the limitations on runtime.
sure.
And a lot of times that's really the only problem
That's the
is
only problem. Yeah,
but like they do the best they can with the minutes they're given. And yeah, like this they had 90 minutes and there
and
were
an original script, completely
yeah.
original script. Like New Frontier ain't original. Darwin Cook, like, and even he was adapting it, going like, "Oh, it's tough to condense all this into 75 minutes." Like you had an hour and a half, and it's your script.
Yeah, I probably enjoyed 25 minutes of this movie. That's not good.
The full tally, yeah, agreed. And yeah, no, that's obviously that's terrible. And that the rest of it, you can't even again argue that it ties like the movie Batman and Robin probably ties together better than this.
And that's saying something.
Like, holy shit, do we need any other proof then?
Yeah.
Like, what does the
Yeah.
beginning of this movie have anything to do with the end of this movie?
Yeah. I don't understand. Like yeah. Uh it's really bad. And because it's DC animation, I wanna be nicer about it. Like
Sure.
I want to not hate anything that they do because I love DC animation so much and it has such a special place in my heart. But this is just not good.
No, it's not, and it feels to me like so old man of former teacher of me of going like it feels like a student that I am like deeply disappointed in. Like one of my good students who just is, at this point routinely shitting the bed because started off strong, meaning even within the Tomorrowverse. I mean, not the strongest of students, but let's say that's a B student. And now it's like less than F. It's like you literally, I would give this movie an incomplete if possible.
Yeah. Because there were a lot of questions unanswered, a lot of things that were unclear in the movie and after the movie. Yeah, disappointment.
Yeah.
I was incredibly disappointed with this movie again because I wanted Warworld and that's not what this was.
I can't imagine your disappointment too. Yeah, like if I had really had a pre-investment the way I do with, let's say, Dark Side or something, I would just be so much more angry. But I'm just left confused because I never really watched much with Mongol, like I said, and it was still so boring. I'm like, I don't give a shit about this guy. Like, why don't I care about him in any way? He's a DC villain, like I said. At some point, just do flashes. I don't care. Like, let us know we're on Warworld at some point, beginning, middle, and end.
Let us
I
know
don't
how we
care how,
got to Warworld. Like, how did we even get here?
even physically, yeah. What was the transport mode of transportation? Give us that.
Yeah, yeah. We didn't even see actual, like, sometimes they'll show, like, the planet itself. We didn't even see that Warworld is a planet.
Right. Did we get any exteriors of it? You're right.
Just it blowing up.
Oh my God, you're right, bro. We had no exteriors of this place.
Yeah, we saw none of the
Ugh.
gladiator style Colosseum fight. Like, we don't see any, like, it's just a waste of time.
Yeah, I mean, like in any okay, it's the title of the movie, right? War World. You do the Gotham City thing, character unto itself. Your setting is the character. It contributes and builds the character of Batman as we know him. Let's get some quick cutaways to these people, to, as you said, a gladiatorial thing, bunch of people cheering in a coliseum. Set the scene of where we are. Instead, it's no music inside what looks like a spaceship. I didn't even know I was on a planet.
Yeah,
Looked like a spaceship to me.
that's all it was.
That's all
It
it
was just a
was.
spaceship. And even
Was it a spaceship just parked on a planet? Like, is that where we were?
that's what it looked, because even if, like, whenever they said, oh, there's trouble on the second floor, oh, there's trouble in, unit 4, there's, unit 6 has been shut down, like, we could have seen any of that happening. uh
Yeah, I was confused about the two. I'm like, are we in a high rise or a spaceship? When they were
yeah,
saying floor.
what are we doing? It just
Yeah.
yeah, it was, yeah.
Ugh.
If we want to, along with the fact that it was a bad movie, like, they had 90 minutes and didn't do anything with them.
So little that it was like to the point of boring, where I'm trying to fill in silences, I'm trying to fill in story stuff. Again, it was just boring to watch as well. Like very briefly, I wasn't personally a big fan of the new Superman movie, but like one thing you can't really say about it, as much as my one word review is that it's annoying, but at least it's not boring. There, at no point in that movie are you going like, man, I wish some shit would happen. If anything, things just happen and happen and happen and happen. This absolutely nothing happens. And
Nothing.
when it does, it's disparate, it's disconnected, it's in no way like No one really seems to have any kind of arc. I don't understand what Mongol wants. Why the hell Lobo would want that, and which he doesn't, as we've established. No way any kind of biker would want to take over a sentient planet or whatever the hell this thing is. I don't know what's going on in this thing, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it was rough. Um, like just a bad movie. I
It's
try not to call
bad.
movies bad because, there's subjectivity and everything, but this is a bad movie.
Sure. Yeah, that's
So,
fair to not want to jump into that. And obviously, a lot of work gets put in, and sometimes you don't see the filmmaker's vision and da da da. But at least, like with some bad movies, or at least movies I don't like, I can at least go like, okay, this is what they were trying to do. I couldn't tell you what these people were trying to do. I mean, I heard in the special features what they said they were trying to do, but they didn't even like seem to. It seemed like a phoned in version of every single thing that they said they were trying to do.
yeah, so that's the thing. This was a bad movie as a fan of DC, and this was a bad movie just as a movie viewer. Um,
100%.
it was like the animation was good, but like I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
The only thing
I'll
that
go
could have
with
made it
that.
worse would have been a bad animation style.
Sure. Yeah, if they hadn't figured out, I'm sure it helped that this was a couple movies in. That's a good point. So they probably had a lot of their models and stuff already done. And man, again, in the special features, like I was watching some of the design stuff, specifically with the Wonder Woman. Um, they put some, obviously, there's some talented people behind this. It just makes it, again, that much more disappointing.
I agree. All right. Uh, Ben, always a great time.
Always a good time. Yes, and like you said before, I'm glad that we got to do something that is not me just kissing the ass of the DCAU. So you got to hopefully not see the too bad of a side of me, but that I can certainly be critical when I don't like something.
Indeed. Indeed. And could you tell the people one more time where they can find you?
Yes, absolutely, of course. So Above and Batman Beyond is the podcast. Please subscribe and follow. Write us a 5-star review. Really helps us out. And then non-podcast stuff, follow us at Batman Beyond Media. That's on Instagram and Facebook. We have Ep by Ep, which is coming back. I didn't mention that before, but that's when we go episode by episode of Batman Beyond, which I was telling my co-host Eli that basically, and I think I was telling you off mic too, re-listening to that first season, we have done like comprehensive audio analyses of Batman Beyond. Like if you had to identify what we've done at this point, especially with Eli's level of expertise. So the point is, if you like that pretty deep analysis going beat by beat style of podcasting, check out Ep by Ep or Ep by Ep series, which again is just on the Above and Batman Beyond feed. And then finally, you can find Spencer is going to be coming up. In fact, because we are starting now, while we are doing again Ep by Ep, because it's so in depth as I mentioned, I don't want to do that every single week. So now we're going to start doing things like Dekamu movies, DC animated movies, but we're starting with the Dekamu. So we're going to start with Flashpoint Paradox, and your boy here is going to be on that episode coming up.
I'm excited about it.
Me too. Because again,
Because
the Ep by Ep is a lot of work, and so I just love. And what we do is commentaries for the DCAM stuff. So it's just Spencer and I watching the movie. I take notes. I mean, I definitely put work into it and a lot of all my IMDb stuff. But it's I'd say it's less work and more of a joy while doing those. So yeah,
yeah, just talking through a movie while watching it is a good time.
it's so much fun, right? It's like a totally different style of I mean, obviously it's a different style of podcasting, but to me because it has a bit of a live feel to it too, because you can't edit. You literally can't edit because it would mess with people watching the commentary. But I kind of like that pressure, and also it brings you back to just watching movies with your boys like that. It's almost that like behind the scenes of what you and your friends would be doing watching a movie.
Exactly. I love it.
Yeah, and Spencer is really good. Like some people, I will say, also have done enough commentaries at this point. Some people are not as there's a bit of a learning curve, and I would say you picked it up right away. Like how just you're great on a commentary is the point. So
Well, thank you.
of
I,
course.
I appreciate it. Well, all right. In the next episode, we will be discussing Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 1. Salutations.